Okay, ladies, welcome, ladies, to the second chance roundtable. Okay, today we're going to talk about, amongst other things, we're going to talk about the pyramid of outcome. You know, the only pyramid that probably exists that you have to start reading from the top and to the bottom. We're going to talk about what I like to call the law of reciprocity when it comes to fitness and health. And then there is four invisible force, probably maybe even more, but at least four invisible force that are really responsible for you not really achieving results when it comes to long-term results. And obviously we'll get through that as well. So the first thing I want you to understand that basically when it comes to actually achieve a long-term results, it comes down to the ability of you to make a standard out of what you need to do. Okay, not what you want, not because you don't get results, not because you're any different than anybody else, not because you have a metabolic dysfunction or things going on into your life that is any easier or worse than other people. It's because the people that you see in here succeeding or in life, they might have not only better genetics, they might have they maybe even if they're athlete, they're using some drugs. But what are they doing better than you, quote unquote, if you're not achieving the results you want? It's definitely making a standard out of the thing you should be doing. Okay, so they don't work out just once or twice a week, but they actually do it for over time. There is something that they do unconditionally. They do it despite the results, despite motivation or not motivation. They do it without so much request after. Okay, and this comes down to I kind of put together what in my opinion is the kind of like the pyramid or pyramids that really reflect three main things. On top, like it's going to be a little bit messy, but we'll try to make it more clear for you. On top you have you. Okay, and when it comes to you, usually you have obviously the strategy here, you have the daily work on the bottom, but when it comes to you, it's like if you don't have you in place, if you're not in the right state of mind, you won't take action. You will not take action. You will take action today. You will not take action for good. You will not take action next week. You might take action, 25 days out of the month, and then 5 days you don't care. And these 5 days are not going to be enough to mess up your results, but it's still something that you could maybe improve. And obviously it doesn't happen. You in the pyramid that is basically on top, you needs to be in place. That's why I make it like all black. And within you, there is three things that is very important. Number one, your stories or your limiting beliefs. So whatever you believe to be true in this specific moment. Number two is the identity, right? That governs, your actions. Meaning, like if you feel like you're a busy mom, if you feel like you are a entrepreneur, if you feel like you're traveling all the time, so you don't have time. You feel like you're justified by having an emotional eating or a eating disorder. So, this is your identity, right? This is the identity you believe. You let this identity dictate whether or not you're going to have results. And then, of course, there is the mindset. The mindset, includes, and, again, this is, you'll see it probably here. You have the stories, you have the identity, and you have the mindset. This basically includes you, right? This creates your state of mind. The mindset is responsible to make sure that you understand that, okay, like even though I don't feel like right, in place, even though other people are getting results and I'm not getting it so fast, the state of mind that you need to change is going to allow you to take action every day. And this is really what you're going to need to do, like every single day. Do a day that is good, do a day that is bad. It's better to do something, that is not 100% good, but at least you have the state of mind of actually doing it. Now, when it comes to workout, I said it multiple times, there is yellow days, there is green days, and there is red days. The green days are the days that you feel motivated, you feel like your hormones are in place, you feel like doing something, you should be doing something, and that's the day that whether or not you plan it, you want to be doing it. That red days, right, is the day that doesn't matter, like you don't feel good, you're not motivated, maybe even you didn't plan it, and whether or not that day you plan to work out, you shouldn't really be working out. That's kind of like this is also the days that is going to be counterproducing of you actually working out. Now, there is yellow days. Yellow days is like when you feel like, you're not motivated. your hormones are okay, you don't feel hungry, you don't feel cravings, you have maybe plan or not plan, and that day, whether or not you plan it, is one day that behooves you to do something, because it's going to create a progression anyway, okay? So this is another thing that, that we can actually include, in you, okay? So we have you on top, okay? So as we go back here, we have you on top. So, usually you read a pyramid from the bottom up. You see, the daily work, you see the strategy we're using, and then you see you. If you're not gonna be in place, like, it's different with nutrition, because, there is the behaviors here, there is the calories, there is the macros, and this one you can always fix. If you're not in place, if you have the stories here holding you back, you're not going to take action. That's why we have here today. We actually have an amazing show-up rate of 18 people. That's why we don't have 60 people in here, because some of you, of the one they're going to watch, is like your you is not in place, because you could not find a way, right, to manage, to find in the last, I don't know, 15 days, to manage to find yourself, free to do that. And again, it's not against anybody in particular. It's simply, you need to have you in place every single day, to do your best to have you in place. The second part, and again, this is kind of like the middle, I'm going to try to do it with a different color. This is the strategy that we're using, okay? The strategy that we're using, we're big on strategy. We don't just give you something random here. We give you strategy. We give you strategy in nutrition. We give you strategy in the workouts. And then we give you strategy, obviously, in learning about your metabolism. We do that every Wednesday. We give you strategy in learning about when you travel. We give you strategy, several different options, because I don't believe in giving you one thing. I could might as well just, say, okay, we're going to use, in this group, we're going to use carb cycling, or we're going to use intermittent fasting, or we're going to use, I don't know, vegan, or we're going to use that. We would find that half of the people, you have to force yourself to be motivated to actually do it, because it's not something that reflects your life. So the idea is, finding a strategy, and this is like the one that is people that has been here for longer than 6 to 8 weeks already know that, but it's finding a way to gather data, right? And telling yourself, how can I get away with so many things I still want to do? Okay, so how can I still eat enough, more than I'm even more than I'm supposed to eat, right? Eating more or less clean, but still not to having to trade all my time. So how can I manage to see results by working out a few times a week and eating as many calories as possible, still producing a result? For most people, it's, let's say, 2,000 is here. If I give you something like 1,600, you can still hit enough. You can still see result with working out a couple of times a week. And that allows me and the coaches to be able to have a lot of room for adjustment, because when you're going to find a plateau, when this is going to get closer and you're going to find a plateau, we can just add another workout. We can just add walks. We can just add supplements, for example, or we can take away some calories. So this way that, keeps like shrinking and shrinking and shrinking can go on for very, very long. Now, the strategy is only good. First of all, you see it here. If you learn the strategy, it's only good when you actually master it. So it's not enough to say, okay, then I'm going to use just, I don't know, I'm going to use, carb cycling or whatever, I'm using examples, I really don't want anybody to use any particular protocols, because are destined to fail for a simple fact that they're restricting and there are so many rules in there. So it's just simple to say, okay, I'm using this, I'm going to eat around 1,500 calories, I'm going to hit, high in protein, and then with the fat, I'm going to do up and down. Now, if you know that you're hitting high in protein, and you know that, you need to eat 1,500 calories, now you know that you can progress very well. So how can you do next week better than today, right? Based on what I learned today, I lost 0.5 centimeter, I don't know, and maybe 0.5 kilo, eating a balanced diet and then just high in protein. I'm going to simply refine that strategy. Next week, I'm going to find a way to get more quality protein. I'm going to find the way to make, 1% higher the quality of protein, maybe a little bit more in grams. I'm going to find a way to maybe go an extra walk or whatever the case might be. And if I'm a person that cannot plan, they don't have time, I'm going to find a way to make this a habit, solid habits. I'm going to concentrate around my mindset. I'm going to, you're going to see this. You have to read this thing. If you're here, you have to read out. If you're doing that particularly good, so 10 out of 10, we always have this rating. Let's say you do 10 out of 10 this, Once you do this well, 10 out of 10, now you want to learn how can I be 10 out of 10 on myself, right? 10 out of 10. If I only, I don't know, when it comes to you, you're only like 3 out of 10, I can assure you that if you're 3 out of 10 with you here, it doesn't really matter what the strategy is, you're gonna fail anyway. At least not, you're gonna get results, but you're not gonna get long-term results until you don't fix that. So this should be the first that you're getting 10 out of 10. Even if it takes 10 weeks, 2 out of 10 today, next week's 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10, you need to have no more stories, no more excuse, no more limitation, fix your environment, like in a sense that you can prioritize this, why is it important for you to change, and you know that you're going to keep this going. The strategy is a piece of cake, because that one we give you to you. Like me, Georgia, Ira, we're here to adjust your strategy. We're here to make things better, easier, okay? But this one needs to be in place. So you're here in the pyramid, you now want to make sure that you have this in place, 10 out of 10 and 10 out of 10. It doesn't matter which one comes first. I know that if you fix this first, it's going to be much better. And then you move down to the daily work, right? It's not enough to do a strategy for 3 weeks. If you do that, like a lot of people are here for 6, 8, 12, 15 weeks, then they say, oh, I feel like I can go alone. I don't know. It's like, there is the knowledge now that after 1 to 3 years, 95% of people backlash for this thing that I teach you every Wednesday, for mechanism of compensations, for inability for you to be able to stick to things, and for you not having a vision. For you saying, I want to lose weight now, right? But it's something like now. It's an emotion I have right now, I want to lose weight, but I cannot do it for over time. And of course, why people backlash or why people get everything back with the interest is because, the mechanism of compensation, the physiology part, but why they don't find something to actually be able to maintain is because of the mindset, 100%. Is because they do not understand that this is a lifestyle. And it's something like I'm going to do for a year, for 6 months, for, I don't know, maybe even 2 years. Then I'm going to drag my habits how they were before. I'm going to allow myself to skip that workout. I'm going to allow myself to skip that extra cheat day in there. I'm going to go to vacation. I'm going to, God forbid, something comes up. You lose your job, you lose your car, you lose, something in the family. That in your health is going to take a backseat. And then you get everything back. It's as simple as that. If you do the daily work, and it's painful, the daily work is painful because it's not easy, it's annoying, it's something that you have to do, it's a lot of repetition. If you do the daily work, it becomes like like riding a bike. It becomes like brushing your teeth. It becomes like something like so insignificant, but something like so habitual and so is a pattern that if you would not do it, you will almost feel bad, right? So it's something like is ingrained into your life. So, daily work, and this is, let me put this one here on the bottom. The daily work includes, includes routines, actions, habits, you want to call it however you want it. And these things, and you can see on the bottom, are governed by what the second chance is really founded on. So certainty, clarity, and of course, culture and consistency, okay? So the certainty, we try to give you as much certainty as we can, inside the group, because we keep, moving you forward. We keep telling you every single time why you're not getting results this week, because, based on, what I see, I can tell you why it's not working, right? I can only do that if you keep posting every single week. That's why I keep hammering people, especially, the new one and some of the old one that's been here for a while. Post regularly, because now I know that you feel fine. I know you're getting results, but if you do not post, if something stops, I don't know why. We don't know why, because there is not only one thing in general, there is something for you and more, in fact, I'm going to tell you the truth. The form that people fill in, if you, for example, go to dietitian, for those of you that went in the past, you know what it is. It's like 5-6 different pages, about history and about why am I not doing all that with you? Because it wouldn't make any sense to me, because anyway, the 80% of the people, or 85, will have results just by simply tweaking a few things, because it's the consistency the problem, not so much of what you're eating, right? Now, you also would get very bored about feeling stuff every single time. But it comes down to that if you post is a very good way for us, for me, Giorgio, and Hira, to be able to see what is really going wrong right now, right? And then, of course, there is this 15, 20% of people that gonna need to do extra. You know, genetically speaking, maybe they have some insulin resistance, maybe there is a metabolic condition, maybe there is something that you've been exasperating your metabolism for the past. Those things are in place. And that thing, we need maybe an extra thing. We need some extra testing. We need some, and that's, in a few cases inside, you know, the second chance, I had to send people to do some testing, you know. But beside of that, as long as I can see that you're doing the work and you're progressing, take some numbers, see how it progresses, then, you know, it goes move forward. The consistency, I just said it right now. If you're consistent, we know exactly what you're doing. There is some people that are getting results. They don't post from few months, but, you know, they are consistent, and I know who they are, and I know they're gonna do well anyway because they've been here for very long, right? Then, of course, there is clarity. You want to be clear. You know, we said it multiple times, your story gets built up by you not being clear. So if you've been clear for 20 weeks, for 30 weeks, for 40 weeks, but then you're not clear tomorrow, you might start doubting. You're starting doubting, you say, okay, should I continue this way or not? And clarity of purpose is the most important thing. And of course, it's the culture. That takes me to the culture, the most important inside a second chance. I sent a few messages, you know, earlier this week. If I see out of 60 people, 30 posting, the other 30 people are going to get amazing motivation from the people. But when, you know, what happened when Anna get tired? What happened when, you know, Mimi get tired? When Marissa get tired? One time, you know, they have the rights to be not motivated. They have to be able to get motivated from the other. Okay, so it's only can be a culture thing, as you understand that motivation is an active part of results when people post. Okay, and here I see a pretty good posting ratio in general. Like everybody's doing really well. And it's not against nobody in particular. It's just about post more, not because we want to know more about you, but we want to see how well you're doing. Okay, and this automatically is going to make an environment for success. Okay, so the one thing that I wanted to talk about next is before we go into the kind of like my opinion, what is really holding people back. And this roundtable has a special purpose for you to be here, you know, before Christmas, because I know that a lot of people, when it comes to holidays, one, they get very, very scared because they might travel, you know, for see the family in different countries. They might say, oh, now I'm gonna eat this week, you know, Christmas and New Year's, I'm gonna mess everything up. And that's not the case usually. But why I wanted to throw this roundtable in this time is because I want you to understand that you're in control of things. And as long as you do the right things for 25 days out of the month or 20 days, you know, the 10 days that you don't do the right things, you still can get results and you're still going to be okay. Okay. Now, when it comes to what I like to call, you know, the theory against the practice, you see something like that. Now I'm going to show you what I mean. You know, theory is super simple, right? And I said it multiple times. The second chance program is super simple, the process, but it's so difficult to change. It's not because it's difficult, the second chance, it's because it's difficult changing in general. If you just look around you, the close friends you have, and you find people that actually change in this year, like overall, they became a different person, I feel like you cannot find more than a handful of people. Like people do not change so easily because they're not willing to let things go. They're not willing to deal with pain. They're not willing to grow. They're not willing to improve. And basically, it comes down to the fact that you have the theory here, and you have here you, right? And you have here where you want to go, and you're building up different stories. You're building up. You have your why. You have your why. You tell me why is it important, and then this is what it looks like. Then we develop a strategy here. We put a strategy, but then what happened? This is the theory, right? And why is the problem with the theory? Why we have 90% of the program failing in general? Because they really focus on the theory and the strategy, but they do not focus on the human error. They do not focus on the person. Because now, there is you here that you want to improve. You probably even qualify to improve because you know what you need to do. We give you the strategy. You know what you need to do. But then there is on the bottom your identity. We have fairly similar identity here, whether you're here because you have a eating disorder, food relationship, bad food relationship, you have a troubled past, or you have bad habits, or you have bad scheduling, or you let things go, you know, kind of like you were in track one day, and then, you know, one thing came around and the other thing, you develop this identity here, okay? And this identity here on the bottom is responsible to creating obstacle, okay? So you start creating an obstacle here, you start to creating many obstacles. So this is, for example, not having time. This is my metabolism suck. This is like I was doing okay, but now I'm not. This is how, oh, I see other people succeeding and I feel embarrassed because I'm not doing the work, right? All these things is invisible things going on in your mind, in your identity, okay? The only way for you to change is to shift this identity, right? This is why if you could lose 5 kilos in 10 months, or I don't know, 5 months, you take almost a year, because in the middle there is a vacation, there is the job, there is like, I don't know, I cannot do this today because I am tired. There is because I am busy, right? Oh, there is, oh no, she's a mom, you know, well, oh no, no, they can do it. Of course, she's not a mom like me, right? I mean, like there is always something. And this is limiting belief, okay? Would we find a way as humans to take away these things here that you saw? Results would happen every single time. Without those things in the middle, results would happen every single time. Every single time. You would get literally changing your body in the half of the time that you take it. Now, if you cannot do that, and it has to be like that because we are human, we have a conscience, we are really giving value to our ideas. So that's good, right? That's good that we are like that. You know, I don't know how many of you would want to be somebody different that you are. Maybe you would, but I'll say I'm pretty happy where I am, but I understand that, you know, my character, my personality, my attitude, it put me in trouble more than once. And this is, you have to deal with that. So you have to take longer than expected in things. And this is obviously the way things are going. Now, the one thing I want to show you next, this is what I like to call the law of reciprocity. Obviously, if you look it up, it doesn't mean that, but what I like to actually make an analogy here is because we see this all the time, right? The problem that we have to understand that, you know, there is you going towards a direction here. There is your action that based by a value, and they're going to give a results, right? If you're a procrastinator, you're always going to be a procrastinator. If you say yourself, I'm a procrastinator, and you have this idea that you're a procrastinator. If you say yourself, I'm successful, and I'm going to do whatever it takes, I'm going to be successful. Now, what happens when there is a farmer, you know, that put down the seeds, right? You put down the seeds today, you put down the seeds tomorrow, you put down, you first you have to get the money to buy the seeds, but let's given the fact that you have to put down the seeds, you just don't put down the seeds and you wake up tomorrow with the fruits or with the flowers, right? Or with the tomato, whatever you're planting. You need to put down the seeds. You need to have faith that it's going to be sunny. You need to wait for the environment to be okay. You need to water the seed. You need to harvest, you know, the ground. And all this takes time. So how is it, you know, that when it comes to health, you just do a couple of weeks or something and you expect the results? It's because we're being hardwired to actually get things fast. And this is a very good analogy because it goes from, you know, I know Elena is not here right now, but like she would tell me, oh, you can use this thing in business as well. Of course, that's the principle where this analogy comes from. You know, like if you water your garden today, you start eating the fruit in 6 months from now. And this is when it comes to fitness and when it comes to online fitness, especially when it comes to online fitness, that's why we have 95% of products that are being tried to automatize things, you know, giving you a website, you jump on a website, oh, I'm going to do an intermittent fasting for $20 or for $10. Is a PDF automatically that you get to do for no longer than a week and then you quit. And now what happens to you? You become price sensitive. You think things are not working, right? Because you've been hardwired to think that everything is fast, right? So business like fitness, like health, you need to understand that you need to harvest. And this is what it looks like. You know, you need to harvest today. You need to plant the seed to harvest, you know, the sun has to show up. Sometimes it's going to be the rain, but you're going to need to do that for very long. And in 6 months from now, you're going to start enjoying the results. You get to enjoy the results before, like, you can get your little sun in here, right? But it's also going to be difficult in the middle. Right now, if you stop, this is the only time when you're actually losing. right? But if you keep going, and if you understand that you do need time to actually see the results, and especially keep the results, what's going to happen is that the law of getting things back, of be reciprocal, is the fact that you don't get here to taste the fruit, to taste the flowers before you do all that. So it's going to be divided into two people. The one that actually get here, that you're going to learn all the small little habits. You're going to learn that, it sucks to get here, even when I'm not, some days are going to be amazing. Some days are actually going to be a disaster. Like, days like this, like it's going to be a disaster. You're going to still do the work. You're not going to get some results, but you're going to do the work anyway. You get here and you're enjoying because you're looking back. When I say, by the way, ladies, when I say create times for yourself, and I say create times, I'm looking at this right now. We have here, we have Connie, we have Lorna, we have Pilar, we have Marissa, we have Anna, we have Helen, Mimi, Suzanne. Not forgetting anybody just because I don't say the name. When I say create space, you're somewhere here now, like you get to enjoy some flowers. Why I make you create the space? Not to create more time, not because I want you to understand that instead of magically thinking that you only have 15 hours out of your day, you have 24. Everybody knows that you're 24. And I don't force you to wake up earlier and meditate or look in your mirror for nothing. I want you to understand, what was this path about? How difficult was this from here to here? How many obstacles you have to overcome? How different was this to actually doing a Weight Watcher or an intermittent fasting or something like of those detox or those silly shakes that you have to drink for a year doing nothing? How different this was from this. And this is how you get to meditate. Because guess what? If you put, let's say you're this flower in here, you put a frame around yourself. As you get to understand and you get to develop yourself, you're kind of like this flower in the middle here, right? There is all this problem outside, all this problem like hitting you right here on the side. All this problem try to come into your frame, and you're going to say, no, I'm more important than the problems. I'm more important, Let's say that the problem is, I need to get the baby to go somewhere or whatever the case might be. I got good news for you. It's like, if you understand this frame, you understand that you come first so you can help your baby. Because if you get your baby to come first, and sometimes it's counterintuitive for moms, but if you don't understand that you do need to be healthy, not for right now, because it's crying, but for 10 years from now, when you need to be a healthy mom, this comes first. So you build space for yourself, whether it's early in the morning, whether you do it later in the afternoon, but you do need to build space for yourself, because if you don't do that, chances are you're not going to be able to be sustainable in the future, and you're not going to be keeping results, okay? So to finish off, and this is, to finish up, and then of course we're going to have our hot seat with the ability of you to be able to ask questions. There is 4 invisible forces, that don't get results. Not the strategy, not this is not working for me anymore. The 4 forces are stories, okay? So what you let your story or your limiting belief to be. So it's like, I don't know, I don't have time, I cannot do this, or now my metabolism doesn't work anymore, I got the results for 6 weeks and now I don't get results anymore. So you do that with pain gains, what I call pain gains. You have a pain gains, form in there, which basically asks you questions such as, how can you see a story in a different ways? Why do you think this story is valid? Have you done everything you could to actually overcome the stories, right? And the last and the most important is, what am I going to do to get clarity so I can take a different action? Because this story that you have right now is not useful. And this story is going to be the one holding you back. And I'm talking for here, not anybody in particular, but people that everybody get results around the 10 weeks mark before that, because the body is something new. After that, you need to be a warrior. You need to be persistent. Okay. So that for some people, well, we have some example here, Lorna, Hannah, we have some people that get results over time without never stopping. Some other one, for most people, including myself, you're going to get plateaus in between. You need to overcome those, okay? The second one is your identity. And this is very important for you to understand. I dare say it's the most important. You will have an identity every single day, every single time, and every single moment of who you are, okay? Or something being different, right? So if you're a mom, you're going to have this identity that something is not working because you are a mom. If you are, I don't know, a manager, a traveling person, you're going to tell me, oh, I cannot manage to do it when I'm traveling, right? We see that. We saw that, for example, with Anna, that is not true, right? That she can do it anywhere when she's traveling. But you're going to have a story about, oh, I understand they're getting results, but not for me because, I have an emotional eating behavior, right? Now, this is the identity you have. The identity I have sometimes when I know that, I come from an ex-binge eating, situation, I say, oh, today I'm stressed. I know I'm going to give up. I'm still under my calories. I can fix it tomorrow, right? It's like it's an identity you're building. And the identity is there is always going to be tomorrow. I don't really care, really, right? What about if your identity that you need to create yourself? And this is why I keep saying post about your identity. Tell me who you think you're going to be. Who do you have to become? What if you are becoming an athlete? What if you're really not an athlete, but like you would say in the 2019, your resolution is to become an athlete. This is going to be a post, by the way. I'm going to post it up later on tonight. What is it that you're becoming in 2019? Who do you become in 2019? Who is your identity, right? You can go live, you can post, you can do whatever you want, you can type if you want. But what is it, the identity? Because if you shift the identity to be an athlete doesn't slack, at least not all the time. An athlete doesn't say I'm a mom, because I'm a mom athlete, but I'm an athlete, right? Like you don't need to become a better, like you do need to build a better identity you currently have. This is the second story or the second forces that are here to stop you, okay, over time. Because we have for example, we have some moms, that they feel like they have the identity of a mom. Then there is some moms here that they shifted the identity. It didn't matter, right? And some of them, they don't come all the time on there. I'm going to make an example. There is Leila that she's going to talk, she's also a coach, by the way. She's not a coach into the program, but she's a coach for business. And, she's going to talk in our event. And she hardly come on, like she's a mom. She works, more than 100%. And she's still able to do all the macro exactly. Like this is almost like kind of like now the extreme part on the other side. And maybe she's going to hear that, she's going to laugh. But anyway, you can be whoever you want to be. You just need to want. Okay, this is your identity. The third part is the environment. We said how important is the environment. That's why I'm a stickler about this group. Like you need to be here because you want to be here. Otherwise, you don't have a place being here. That's why we removed over 30 people in the past year that should not be here. We help a lot of people graduated successfully. They are doing very well. I follow them up on online as well. But if you don't want to be here to actually feed the environment, it's because you have enough environment on your own to feed. You are the results of the 5 people you hang out the most in your life. You can actually think about it. Your parents, your partner, your friends, the people that drag you down, the people that, if you have people that want you to go to McDonald's, you will go to McDonald's sooner or later. If there is people nagging you about health, wanting you to drink or wanting you to go out, or why are you not this person going out anymore, you are going to give in one day or another. So environment is king. There is very much research about it. Your environment is going to be the one thing that is going to make or break your results on the long run, on the long term, okay? So it's very important for you to understand that you do need to get in part of your environment, okay? And that means, creating healthy habits, surrounding yourself with people that actually are dedicated for the results. That means to weed out some of the people. Again, like, it's very, like, we all have families. Everybody's, moms, fathers, sisters, we all love them, right? But the reality is that at times we're not like them, right? They're very different, right? And like, if somebody drags you down, like, you can still, keep the people in your life, but you have to understand to surround yourself with a bubble that is actually positive. This is going to be the most important. And the last one, and this is, in my opinion, for sure, the most important, is really the idea of having a vision, okay? I'm going to be talking a lot about in the seminar about it. People that are not succeeding over time in life, period, is because they don't have a vision. They say they want to do something, that, okay, we're doing it for a little bit, but the vision is not there. They don't know why they have to do it. They want to do it because it's important. They want to do it because they make them feel okay. As soon as you have a taste of that leg that you start seeing, no more cellulitis, no more water retention, no more this, 2 or 3 weights kilo down, you start seeing your abs a little bit, you revert back to your old habits, because sacrificing is more difficult than having a vision, okay? So you need to have a vision, if nothing else, because you need to ensure yourself that you're gonna grow, and you need to ensure yourself that you have hope, okay? Hope is done, right, by having a vision, okay? And again, one more time in the seminar, we're gonna go very deep on that, you know. Why? Because if you don't have a vision, you will get results for a very long time, but one time you're not gonna understand why is it important, and you get people, like we had people in the past, very successful, looking very well, and not be happy at all at the end. Like they are, okay, oh, I don't know what is gonna make me happy. Cool. You don't know because you didn't have a vision. You have no idea why you wanted to change. You wanted to change just so you can feel a little bit better about yourself. You wanna feel better, but you don't know why. Is it for you? Is it for your kids? Is it for your friends? Is it for your mom? Is it for your partner? Like, who are you doing it for? Why? Is it because of health? Is it because of cosmetic reasons? Is it because, like, whatever that is, everything is okay, everything is accepted, but you must have a vision, okay? So with this being said, lady, we're out of time for that. I'm gonna have you log back in again. I wanna hear some of you speaking. Those of you that you don't have anything to say, you're excused to go. This was very good. Thank you for that 20 people that are in here right now. You can log back in. There is a hot seat going on. You can say anything about this roundtable, or you can ask things that you want to be asking for your own situation. Thank you so much for watching, ladies, and take this message, watch it again, and be successful. Thank you so much for watching.